Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third edition of the Moontech webinar. And today we're going to be talking about something really interesting. So this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and we have seasoned experts in the building today. They'll be introducing themselves. I don't have the capacity to introduce the kind of people I have here. I've worked with some of the geniuses you're seeing on screen, Ebenezer specifically. But before we get to introductions, we are going to be talking about data-driven business decision. So this is a very big topic. The topic of data is so robust that it cut across everything that we do. You know, how you decide whether you want to turn left or right is based on some data that you have stored in your brain that tells you, okay, you should take your left turn or you should take your right turn. But then that's just the human instinct part of things. But this time we're bringing it to business because we want to see how data impacts business. So that's my little introduction. So I'll go ahead and hand over to Mr. Ebenezer to introduce himself. Just give us a small roundup of what you've been doing in the data space and what you're currently working on. If you have interesting projects, please share. Let's know what you're working on, and let's see how we can collaborate. Over
Okay.
to you, Ebenezer.
Thank you, Nizo. It's pretty nice to be here. My name is
Yeah.
Ebenezer Okeowo, and I'm a data scientist, data analyst, and I've been in the space for about over 7 years now. And I'm currently working more on Fabric. Um, I became a Fabric analytics engineer a couple of months ago, and it's pretty amazing working in Fabric. There's a lot to learn within that space, and yeah, so that's basically me for now.
Okay. Awesome. So handing over to Mrs. Omosebi Blessing Ngozi. Please just
All
go ahead
right.
and introduce yourself.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Omoshe
Good
Ngozi
afternoon.
Blessing. I am a business analyst with Nabiat Analytics. I work with service industry basically. And what we do is we do what we call data gathering. Apart from data gathering, do what we call gap analysis. Then we'll give us strategic decisions to firms. And I'll be doing that for a couple of a year plus now. I started off as an educationist. I'm an economist by profession. Then I moved into tech. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. We have something in common. I also did economics professionally, so it's very
Oh,
interesting when economists go into data. It's like what we've been
yeah,
doing in school, all the econometrics
exactly.
and everything, and all of a sudden, boom, it now makes
Yeah,
sense. So
it's
yeah, that was
coming.
like
Yeah,
yeah, at some point in my journey, that was like the revelation of, okay, wow, actually my education, my 4 years in university is not going to be wasted. So it was really interesting
absolutely.
for me to discover that all of those things we did, you can now practicalize it.
Translate them.
It was awesome to identify that. So it's really nice having you all on board. Okay, so this is just a 1 hour session, and I'm sure you guys have a lot to share because we're going to be looking at business, and I don't want to make this a boring session. I want to make it as interactive as possible. So I'm really going be handing over to you guys a lot of time to just give me examples of some of the things you faced, real life scenario of how data has helped improve the business that you are currently working on or something you've worked on before. So we're just going to go around that and see how this goes. So before we go for that, let me introduce Moontech Lab. So Moontech Lab is an accelerator slash co-working space. I wish I was in the space. I would have, panned my camera around to show you what we offer. But it's a co-working space, and an accelerator space. We give access to both technology and funding to startups, to help startups scale. So this is a very important topic for startups because a startup is a business. So and a startup is even a fast-paced business, meaning you don't have the opportunity to make mistakes when you're doing startup. You need to make sure you are hitting the nail on the head. You need to make sure you're making the right decisions. You need to make sure you're working with data. So it's very important for our ecosystem. So to everybody who is online, welcome, welcome. Please, if you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the chat. Maya is here. Maya is going to be pulling those information for us on screen. So Maya, if anybody asks question across the platforms, please just put them on screen, and anybody can jump on the question, and give more insight to it. Yeah. So okay. Um, So let's quickly look at the increasing importance of data in decision making. So many businesses still use intuition to make business decision. We have companies who the founder or the management just say, oh, I think, or I have the intuition that we should put in 3 million into marketing and 2 million into products. Just use intuition. So, and this even goes outside the boundary of business. It even goes into how we operate in Nigeria. A lot of our policymakers still go ahead making policies without data. I've seen use cases where you have like a maybe a local government chairman or somebody who is trying to bring an intervention into like a community, and then you go there and maybe without conducting any form of research, you just say, oh, this community needs 500 sewing machines. And then, all of a sudden, boom, we have 500 sewing machines in the community. And then only for you to find out that it's a community of men, it's a community of
Mm.
old people. So we've seen this happen over and over and over. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of carrying out some form of survey to gather data to be able to make insightful decisions. So I don't know if anybody has anything to say at this point. Please, you can just come in at any point. Um, Mrs.
Yeah,
Blessing, any insights? Okay.
I just want to say, just like what you are trying to say, I'm currently running a course in University of Lagos, management course, strategic management precisely. So I was trying to do a data, I was trying to research on retail outlets in Lagos, Nigeria. And I decided to pick a particular brand. I'm not going to mention the name. Pick a particular local brand. For me, it's doing very well. And lo and behold, no data. So that still informed the fact that a lot of business operates, they just operate. They don't really put in, there's no data to speak to how they are performing or how they are doing their work process. Why do businesses need data? Number one is to reduce intuition. Intuition is common in this part of the world. Just feel that, oh, my gut feeling told me that I should go into pure water. Oh, my gut feeling told me that the reigning business now is bread. Let me just go into bread. And the next, the person is selling bread. After 3 months, the bread business has packed up. He moved to the next business, simply because there is no data communicating what is the next thing. Data is so important because it helps you as a business owner to actually identify trends and opportunity within your industry. What are the things that I imagine in my space? How can I take advantage of it? That is what data does. My friend will always say in the BA industry, say data doesn't lie. And that is just the truth. Data speaks the reality. So when you communicate with data, you tend to know where are we having the curve going upward or downward. Paraventure, we are experiencing a downtrodden curve. What can we do? What is happening? So this begins to inform your gap analysis technique that, oh, let us quickly carry out a gap analysis at this area to find out what is the cause of this downward trend. And that is one of another thing. Another thing data does for me, I've seen about most businesses that because they do not actually keep data, they tend to experience a lot of waste. I've seen business. I have a friend that is into a little business, and suddenly, just when you mentioned that 3 million naira, I just laughed. Suddenly, he's very good. He's a very good businessman, an entrepreneur to the core. He owns a very small, beautiful kush school. And the next thing he did was put money into advert, a huge sum of money he got as loan, launch into advert. Yeah, the population actually came, but retention was a challenge. He couldn't retain because he didn't study. He just feel that, oh, I'm in a new area. Let me make my school attractive. People will come in. They came in. After 6 months, they left gradually. And he started lamenting. I said, where are your data? there, there was no data speaking to it. I said, how can you run this big project without a data? Now your location, What is the income gap? I started asking some questions. What is the income gap of people here? You are complaining that they are leaving because you increase. He felt that immediately he increased the tuition fee, the population has started dwindling. I said, now, did you carry out an analysis of your environment to know what is the income level of people within my environment? Then how can I charge my tuition? He said no. He said he just increased because he felt he had computer, he had a good field. He started mentioning the goodies. Fantastic, he has them. But sorry, people in that location cannot afford your tuition fee. So what happened? They went for the school that did not have even the facility, but the fee was okay for them. So I started speaking to him, and by the time we traced it, the problem was actually the fact that he increased the school fee without doing any environmental check or environmental scanning. And this is common with small businesses. And I know a lot of waste. He was paying back debt for almost 4 to 5 years, huge amount that he spent into campaign that never yield anything. So when you carry out data-driven decision, it helps you to eradicate, if not to reduce, if not eradicate waste maximally. You know where to channel your resources to. You know what is working. Oh, I am producing two products. A is giving me this income, B is giving me low income. What can I do? Should I channel my resources to the production of A, that where I'm getting more income, and push my campaign to that particular area? That takes me to a particular business that I saw in the University of Lagos. There's this woman called Iyamoria. When I started the master's course, every time, every lecturer will always say Iyamoria. Because I'm a data person, I begin to wonder, say, Iyamoria. Oh, a lecturer said, have you tested Iyamoria's food? I said, God, I'm going to test this Iyamoria food and find out how come in the whole University of Lagos is this Iyamoria. So I paid a visit to Iyamoria. On getting to Iyamoria shop, what did I observe? I observed that Iyamoria doesn't prepare everything. Iyamoria majored on traditional meal. Apart from that, she made it so that once I come in, they ask me, what do I want? I say pounded yam. In the next 5 minutes, they are making my pounded yam. So it's so hot. And they can greet me 20 times. Oh, Ekushe, Ekpele, your food will be ready in 5 minutes. So I saw customer service. I said, no wonder Yamoria is getting it right. The last time I checked back in University of Lagos, Yamoria was already partnering with Clover. Clover was helping her to distribute food for those that are outside the University of Lagos. So why am I saying data helps you to make some decision? I think I'll stop here for now for the other.
I think all data people are very very emotional about these topics because if you're a data person you see it easily. You don't even
Yeah.
need to do too much. You just see it and you're like, wow, why is this person doing this? So over to you, Mr. Ebenezer. I know you want to say something about the advantage of using data for your business. So please should give us something.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with like a quick story. So some years ago, I was working in one of the fintechs in Nigeria, and while I was working with this, my manager, she's an amazing person, and she would say, Ebenezer, hope you would not begin to analyze your kitchen or the kitchen when your wife is cooking. And I'm like, why would you say that? She's like, you are too analytical, and the reason is this. I take decision making from the perspective that apart from being a business, right, as an individual, I think it's important that we inculcate the power of data. And unconsciously, most of us um, run these things. Say, for example, um, I'm meeting this up for the first time, and maybe I upset you, or let's assume I borrow money from you, say 100,000, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm going to return back in 10 days or in a week. If I return it at the appropriate time, maybe after 2 weeks I come back and go, Nizo, please, can I get like a 200K? And maybe I thought I was going to return like in 2 weeks, but this time around I delay maybe like in some days. Automatically you are processing without nobody telling you anything. You are processing that, okay, this person borrowed, returned on time, borrowed the second time, some days delay. Okay, you come back again and be like, you know what? Nizo, abeg, can I borrow 500,000? I will return in a month. You'll be like, are you sure you'll be able to return in a month? Now, this is not because the person has messed up before or because he has not messed up before, but it's just you collecting data to say, I borrowed this person the first time. Yes, it was on time. I borrowed the second time, there's a delay. This is like 50 50 50. So if I'm borrowing this person money, you are actually gathering data of that person. And this is how the world is. So imagine as a business, you don't have data. Data is, I don't know how to say it, but data is like you, when you have data, it's more like you have prophets with you. Like
Absolutely.
imagine when you go to church or you go to the mosque and someone says, "Praise the Lord. Hi, Sister Blessing. The Lord asked me to tell you that by this time next year, you're going to be the president of Nigeria." You feel good, right? That's because you have data. And that's because you have been doing some things, right? You are developing history where nobody can see, but maybe God is seeing it, right? But there's data depositing somewhere, and somebody is telling you that something's going to happen. So you're able to make these decisions because you have data. So there is no limit to how you can we can digress this topic because it's pretty big. And now, like I said, you don't really even need to look at data as a big person, right? To understand the power of data. Just as an individual person, your daily activity, your family, your home, it can save you. Say, for example, you are making certain amount of money in every month, and you feel like, oh, I need to improve my savings, or I need to improve my income, or I need to improve my family standard of living. All you need is gather your data. How much have I been earning? How have I been spending my money? With this, you're able to say, you know what? I think I need to cut down on this. By so doing, you are improving yourself. You are just empowering yourself with data. And trust me, there's no limit to, like I said, there's no limit to what we can say about making data driven decision. Tools are like the secondary part, but the most important part of it is the human part of it. You being able to process all of these things without the tool. And now there are a lot of businesses that are out there without data working. Working into based on, like Nizo said, intuition. And I think that everybody will be well, everybody will be fine. But with the power of data, I think you're going to be doing 10 times more than someone doing intuition or intuition. Because why? You have a board of meeting. The only way I can convince Nizo or Blessing right now is when I have data. So I
Exactly.
cannot say, Nizo, I feel we should go this route. If you feel this way, someone else can feel this way. And when you are feeling this way,
Absolutely.
everybody can feel and feel. Feeling is open to everybody, right? So this is where we need to begin to think of data. And I once told one of my colleague that I was working with, though she was in another department in customer service, and I was like if you need to make your department better, or if you need to get the ears of your senior colleagues, all you need is data. And as much as we mention data, there's also bad data and there's good data, right? Bad data can be depending on your source. If you're getting data from an ungenuine source, or maybe somebody want dummy data somewhere. Dummy data is going to be dummy data the way it is, right? But when you're getting the good data, then you should be able to make better decision with it. Like I said, there's good data, there's bad data. Say, for example, you might probably might not find every data out there, right? So you might have to do a lot of research, survey, multiple ways of getting the data. But the most important thing is that you must have data. And I think that the more data you have, the more powerful you will be. Say, for example, another example is when you're buying a car abroad, it's easier for you to get a good deal. Why? Because there's data almost like everywhere. Say, for example, you go to maybe this company that they search VIN for VIN, right? You can search the
Yeah.
history of the car, get information about that car. Oh, this car has been serviced at this particular time. Oh, this year. This thing helps you to make better decision. Imagine I'm just following intuition and I see a nice car that has fine body, fine everything, right? And most of these cars, you are looking at it online first. So you now go there before you get there in the morning. They've done one or two things. By the time you get there, you start the car
Pulling
in
it up.
yeah, everything is eaten up, so is heated up, and you feel like, oh, you have got a good deal. In like 2, 3 weeks or a month later, you're like, sorry, what happened to my car? So it's because the data is pretty wrong. You've gotten maybe you're following intuition. You never listen to the data, right? If you
Yeah.
listen to the data, you would make a better decision in terms of, and I mean, when you make a better decision, it saves you on a lot of things. It saves you on time. It saves you on cost. Yes, it might be that, oh, you might have to spend this kind of money, but definitely when you're spending that kind of money, you're getting value for that kind of money, right? So I think I will just stop here for now, because I mean there's a lot to say about it, but
Like I said, we all get emotional when it comes to this topic because there's a lot of use cases. Even let's come to what's trendy right now. A lot of startups are
mhm,
packing up.
yeah,
Recently, we just saw news that Edukoya has packed up.
wow,
they've returned money back to
good.
this thing.
Let's
Edukoya was a big name when some years ago, but you know it's alarming that at some point they did not either pivot, because I'll blame data for all these things.
Yeah.
You can see examples like ULesson. ULesson has gone to Europe now because I'm sure the data is telling them that Kai, this African market, if you know sure for now for the next how many years, so immediately ULesson, you know, change, they're in Europe now, they're trying to gather more market. So it's very important, not just even the present data, using the data to see the future.
Mhm.
It is overly important for all businesses. So we don't have too much time. So let's go to another topic. This one is interesting. So I want to quickly debunk some myths about data. There's a lot of myths. People will say, oh, this one, that one. Like one very big myth now is that it's only big companies that require data.
Wow.
People just
Amazing.
come and say, oh, it has to be a Microsoft, it has to be a Dangote, it has to
Wow.
be a this before you get data. And then I'm like, even the woman that sells akara needs data. In fact, I've tried building solution for those kind of businesses, because if you understand that maybe you sell akara and you sell it in two different sizes, and then people buy the big one more than the small
It's
one,
no one.
if you have data, you will know that you should be doing more big ones and
Yes.
less small ones.
Yeah.
Because it just it makes you more efficient. It makes it more, it gives you a more robust approach to things. So I don't know if you have any before I call the next meet, do you have any
Sure.
contribution for this one? Big businesses
Definitely.
versus small businesses.
Sure. For example, like you just said now, so you look at it from the aspect of in terms of a market that is competitive. Even a barber, say for example, a barbing shop needs data. For example, ideally, I come in maybe every 2 weeks to do something on my hair. Either I come for shave, or I come to barb, or I come to do something, and you'd not see me in like 2 months. Usually, I come 2 weeks, and you've not seen me in 2 months. This should tell you that is either someone has stolen your customer, or somebody is about to steal your customer. Now,
Hmm.
imagine when you have that data, you're able to quickly check out on that person after 2 weeks. Say, you know what? Hi, how you doing? I just thought to check up on you. It's been a while, right? Because apart from the just the data side of things, there's also the implementation side of things. You're able to follow up with things. Data would always tell you what to do, right? But you need to follow. You need to make that move, and you need to and like I said, data drives customer satisfaction. Like it
Yeah.
drives customer satisfaction. Yes, because when you have data, you are able to follow up with your customers. You are able to, like, you are giving them back to back. I used to shop with one of a friend like that within my neighborhood, and I was talking to her. She has a not a small business, right? She's into clothing, perfumes, glasses, stuff like that, boxers, and a lot of stuff. And I was like, if you have data, you're able to retain your customers. Like you can probably they can get discount where you make more money, right? You can follow up with them. Nobody steals your customer. You have liberty of your customer. After like 2 3 weeks, they've not gotten anything from you. Like, oh, what's up? Thought to check up on you. And she's like, no, I don't need it because my business is still small. I want it to get big first. And I'm like, wow. So when you get big is when you now begin to generate data. Now, the problem is that at what point do you need to start generating that data? Is it when, and what does big mean to you? Does big mean until you get the whole street or until you get a big building before you start generating data? Mind you, the data you have been getting for years ago while you were small will come handy for you, or in terms of helping you solve business problem when you become big. And she's like, nah, don't worry, I don't need it for now. And I'm like, as small as there are data solutions that you can create that will tailor your particular business, small one that would help you. And the most important thing is that you're able to track your business. You're able to look at when you are overspending. You're able to look at products that people buy the most. If you're looking at it from the aspect that I think people buy this, you'll probably make the wrong decision. It's just like saying, oh, I think Nizo likes this. You're just thinking, I really do not know what you like. You're only
Whereas
thinking,
Nizo has a history of what he likes.
do you get? That's the issue of what he likes. That is the issue of things that he would rather spend more money on. And he has some things that he would not spend money. Say, for example, I have a friend, right, Sam. And when we are talking, he's someone that is not big on cars. He doesn't like he wants to spend a huge amount of money on cars, but rather spend it on houses. Like he's someone that loves houses. Like he can spend $1 billion on a house, but he rather spend like $20,000 on a car. Imagine that kind of, and there are a lot of people that if you have their data, they will rather spend billions on cars right? And less amount of hours because they really don't care. I sleep here, no. But that machine I drive around, people call it toy, people call it baby. So they can spend more money on it, right? So if you know this data, if you have their data, you'll be able to sell adequate product to them and you make more money. That's just
Awesome, awesome. Welcome back, Blessing. So
Thank you.
we're debunking myths about data. So another interesting one, data analytics is only for tech experts.
yeah,
You know,
way.
to say
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you get. It's for a tech expert. I had to code. I had to do Python, but
Okay, let me
really, it's not.
so.
should I
So,
jump in?
so data analytics is definitely not for tech experts. Just like what Ebenezer said earlier, he said the human part of data self is even like the
Yeah,
most important one. You know, the ability to know that you are driven by
by
data and
data.
you need to make this decision based on data. It's even more important than starting that first Excel or PowerPoint or whatever data software that you want to work with. So I don't know, Miss Blessing, do you have anything
Okay.
on this
Yeah,
one
I,
that
I
is
want to
only
lend
tech
my
expert?
voice to this. Yes, I have a friend. That's why I mentioned Python. I have a friend. Whenever you're talking to data, she'll just say, hey, 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 I'm not good. I'm not cut out for Python. I'll say, excuse me, this is not Python. This is not about data. She actually run a very small salon. And I was telling her about data. The salon is actually strategically positioned, but she's not maximizing because she doesn't play around data. So one day I told her, I said, you normally have your peak periods on Fridays and Saturday. What do you do differently? She said, I just have my peak period. I said, no, there's something you can do, and you will drive maximum sales just those 2 days. She said, like what? I said, just give a discount for those 2 days. And she tried it, she did a discount. And before you knew it, if you come to her shop on Fridays and Saturday, you will see queue. Immediately she called me and said, are you a witch? I said, I'm not a witch. I knew what will make you dominate this market. And that's why I said, use data. Look at your record. She just opened her sales record. So look at your record. You don't really have so much sales on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where your peak sales are Fridays and Saturdays. So how do you utilize your Friday and Saturday sales to make up for those days that sales are usually very low? Then apart from that, how do you use data to find out what can I do differently in those days where my sales are low? I told her just create something, just a discount. If you know you're going to do hair coloring and whatever, this is the discount for hair coloring. And before you knew it, she dominated the market. As I'm speaking, she's only about 3, 4 shops in different locations now. The last time I checked, she was telling me, Omoshebi, I'm going to Ikeja. I said, can you imagine? I never paid for consultancy fee.
I will
So
remember. Okay, go
I
ahead, go
said, you
ahead.
can see. So I told her, I said, did we open any laptop? No. What I just did was I use your sales figure, I use your record book. So your record book is also a data. So when we say data, it's not about coding. You don't need to code. If some will even say it's so expensive, it's so expensive. No, this is just your record. Check what happened. What product is driving high sales? If I'm into an online business, I will check what are the days I have traffic and what are the products that pulls traffic to my website. Then what do? I will keep launching out those products. Amazon does that a lot. Just go to their website and just search for something. You'll be amazed at the bundle they will throw at you. The same Jumia. Just Google and say, go into Jumia, search, oh, I want to see some laptops. Before you know it, they are dropping notification of different laptops because they've been able to track. What they are looking for is that you have come into here. I'm going to ensure I convert. So the converting is key. Not just coming into my website, you just came in, pop in, do things. Am I able to convert you? So what they do is that they try as much as possible to bring you. The same goes for Netflix. If you search up for a movie, you'll be amazed a similar movie will come. What are they trying to do? They are trying to see if they can convert you. And that is data. Why are they bringing? It shows on their database that this person just checked The Lion King. What can I bring? Why is she checking? Oh, probably she has teenagers. Okay,
Give him
let us pop
Moana.
up. Thank you. Let us give her Moana so that her kids will trouble her to continue. So why you see that those businesses they use data to make some decision to drive traffic to their website. So the same thing, small scale business, you don't need to have all this. Look at your sales record. check out what is happening. How can I bring things differently? Oh, if it is this product that is driving sales, oh, most people that come to my shops are corporate women, and they always come for corporate gowns. What do I do? It will be foolish of me to start buying jeans and stocking up my shop with jeans and t-shirts when I know that the large chunk of my customers, they come for corporate. What do I do? I'm going to launch out to get the latest corporate dress. In fact, I have a customer. What she did was, once you make a sales for her, automatically your data goes into our WhatsApp. As she's dropping news, she's just a very small business, but she understood data. Once you just she would you are on her WhatsApp group. Once she has any latest corporate wear, she's launching it on the WhatsApp group. Even when I don't have business going through that route, I will pass through the route, say, oh, my customer just got nice things. You can see that she's speaking to data. So data is not, when we say data, it's not about coding. You don't need to code. It's just about common sense. What is working for you? Why is it working? How can I intensify on it? Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, what you were talking about in the technical world, we call it recommendation engine. So it's
Mhm.
something that we who develop, you can just program it based on, categorization and, like
Exactly.
for the to put Lion King and Moana together is likely a category maybe based on the
Exactly.
age that was put on it, the PG age, or the maybe it's called, they're all categorized under cartoon, and then it's all for the age of
Exactly.
this. So with that, you can keep throwing that recommendation to your audience. So very interesting. So I also have a use case for this thing you just talked about, fashion. There's a friend of mine. She started as a regular tailoring space, and all of a sudden she found out that it was bridals that was working.
Mhm.
Everybody was coming. She did one bridal and then it made sense. Everybody loved it. And now she does only bridals, literally.
Ah,
Like she does not sew any other thing. And she's packed for the whole year. In fact, a lot of time you have to see her post and say, we have stopped taking order for
Wow.
the next 3 months, 4 months, just bridals. She sews for the lady and her entire crew.
Wow.
Sometimes 20, she will sew for all of them. And that has been her success. She just switched now. She's now a bridal shop. She does not do any other thing. So that was her working with data. She just understood that, okay, no, I have to do this. This is where people are seeing that my strength lies in, even though she's good in so many other things, but it's business. You're here to maximize what you have going. So very
absolutely.
important. So let's look at one more myth. Okay, I think we already talked a little bit about this one. Data driven decision making is expensive. So, Ebenezer, I don't know, just is it expensive? Is it to make data driven decisions? Is it expensive? Just give us 1 minute. I know it's not expensive, but just tell us something.
I think it's relative, but I really don't think it's expensive, right? Because it's
Yeah,
people would say it's more expensive to how do they put it? There's this adage that says like it's expensive to pay for like I don't know how to put that phrase in English, but it's when you don't do the right thing, it's more expensive than
ignorance is more expensive.
Yes.
exactly. So data driven solution is not expensive, like we said, and like I discussed. You can have it's all about the mindset. It's not about the tool itself. It's about the mindset. And there are a
Mhm.
lot of free tools out there that you can even now leverage on, right? But the first part of it
Exactly.
is that is the mindset that you know what I need to be intentional about my data. I need to be intentional about my decision making. I need to be intentional about my business. I need to be intentional about my personal well-being, right? With all of these things. Say, for example, if you go to the hospital, right? And the doctor is you are. I know most time when you go to the hospital, you have to go through a series of people before you even get to see the doctor. What are they trying to do? They are trying to gather your data. Go for what do they call this? Vitals. They take you
BP, yeah.
this thing.
Right
After you do
house.
that, they tell you go somewhere again, sit down for a minute. All of what they are doing is data. And by the time you are getting to see the doctor is processing your data based on your history to say, you know
Absolutely.
what, I think you have IBP, I think you are doing this. All of this thing is just data. And now with data means that you make better decision. You'll be able to prescribe the right drugs, you'll be able to administer the right injection, you're able to advise. It's just data. So I really don't think it's expensive. It's just how we see it. But like I said again, and I'm going to say again, is that it's about the mindset. Are you willing to even go that route of decision making? If you are willing to go that route of decision making, you begin to even make decisions even without these tools. Like for example, now we can have conversations, and before we know, I've started processing because my head is like a terabyte or more than that, processing, downloading data, downloading, and before you know, I'm even telling you. And at times, it begins your data decision skill begin to move towards intuition because you have been able to process data for over a long period of time. You have gathered the amount of data, and you're not able to make decisions with them. So I really would not say it's expensive. Like I said, starting as a startup is not really expensive in terms of making decision making.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, there's a question here. What are some free or affordable tools that a startup can use to get started with data analysis? Oh, very nice question.
Okay.
Very nice question. Yeah, Ebenezer, yes, you shoot, you shoot, you shoot.
Okay. So there are available tools in the market. They are pretty, and depending on your size of the business and depending on how you want to gather your data or what you intend to do. Say for example, you can develop even as simple as a Google form. Like a Google form can help you gather data. Oh, when people call me, oh, can you just fill this form for me? Like you just fill up where you can have sales, you can pick options even before people come into your store or before they come for haircut or before they do anything. You can send out photo. Oh, I'm coming to your store. Oh, can you please fill out this form? Under 2 minutes or a minute. Don't give them forms that will take 10 minutes to fill. Nobody will do that. But just as simple as possible. These are ways you can gather data. And before you know, you are saving this data. And however, like I said, we mentioned Google Form. There are other competitors that are pretty cheaper too, right? And some might require that you pay some extra dollars, maybe monthly or stuff like that. But these things are also still cheaper compared to the value you get from this data, right? And it's also important to know that there are different analytics tools when it comes to decision making. You have some tools that will help you gather data. You have some tools that will help you store data. You have some tools that will help you analyze data, right? You have some, and within this all this process, there are also tools that will help you in terms of data migration, movement of data from one place to the other, right? So, but like I said, it's just a function of your business. If you are running a very a small medium small to medium business whereby you earn at least let's assume you earn at like about 500,000 every month, right? There's a particular tool that you can use that would be like maybe like 10% or even less than 10% of how much you're even making. That would help you serve like couple of months and stuff like that. Like and Excel as simple as possible. If you can
Yeah.
partner with people to say you use 365, right? You can get like you have opportunity to use a lot of Microsoft's cloud services, right? There are a lot of people that combine together to say we want to buy a family plan, 6 people, right? As simple as that, you can use that to leverage it and you get a lot of other things. So, like I said, it's not expensive depending on your business. But these are things, there's no straight answer to this, right? But if you're going to start with gathering data as a small business, there are tools that you can leverage on for free.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so even to add to that, there you can there are even if you look at a lot of the platforms out there now, they are even already building analytics tools into their
Yes.
platform. You know, a
Yeah,
lot of platforms that tell you, come and
Exactly.
do your inventory with us, come and do
exactly.
this with us. They already have analytics tools built to help you see what is happening. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of these platforms are very affordable that you can just go there and work with them. So, okay, let's quickly move forward. We don't have time. Like I said, this is a very interesting topic. How can we foster data-driven culture in an organization? So let's help people who want to know how to start. How can you, one way or the other, make this thing a culture in your organization? So one of the points I have here is that the leadership of the organization needs to buy in. It's very
Buying.
important that the leadership sees the value that data brings to the table. Without that, you will just, keep preaching it and preaching it. I've done it in so many spaces that I've worked in where we're preaching that we need to be objective about our decision making. I'll give shout. We need to make this decision based on numbers. We need to do this. And then the leaders are like, no, that this person said we should do it like this. This was I though I understood where they were coming from because a lot of what they were doing were government related. So it was more like a give the order, go through this route, and then they go
Yes.
through that route, not working with data. It was working, but what I was seeing was that immediately that particular um, value that was coming in from that angle goes out, this will likely not be a scalable business. Because if you continue in this path where the leaders don't see the need to be able to capture this data and work with it diligently, it's really not going to take us anywhere. So another point again, before I call you guys in, another point again is make data accessible to everyone. So if you're in an organization, you need to make the data that you guys generate, it should be accessible to all the departments. Everybody should have the data. That's why if you see like a dashboard in some companies, you see HR data is there. It's as important as knowing when people come to work, when people clock in, the day that the number of male to female ratio in the office. It's as important as that. So you see HR will bring data, you see programs will bring data, you see, everybody bringing data into the fold, and then this data is now available to everybody. So with that, every department is able to make informed decision because definitely it's always collaboration across board. So it's very important that the data that the company is working with is available to everyone. Step number three, or point number three, is promote data literacy across the organization. You
Yeah.
need to teach
Yeah.
people that this is very important, that, the data, this is what you can see. This is, just like Ebenezer said, there is a big difference between gathering data and analyzing data.
Quantitative.
It's a long gap, yes, which you have to understand how to work with. And then finally, so that I don't mention too many, data, you need to align your data with your business goals.
Objective.
It's very important. Ebenezer also talked about good data, bad data. You can't be using data that does not align with your business goals, or bringing some information or data that does not directly translate into what you are offering. Yeah, so I don't know. Anybody wants to shoot on this one? How
I would think
can we?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I
Blessing, floor
want
is
to
yours.
speak to the training aspect of educating your team member on the need to always make decision based on data is actually a challenge. I've been privileged to work in places where when I speak to data, I find that I'm speaking to myself. They just feel that, come on, we've been doing this for donkey years and these routes have been working for us. The truth is that it has been working, but what is the result? We are still sitting on 50% achievement for donkey years. So when you train your organization, despite the fact, when you train your workers or staff members on the importance of speaking to data or the importance of making decisions based on data, it helps to actually harmonize whatever things comes in. Because by the time you are bringing out the dashboard showing the data, okay, let me give an example. There was a time we were having challenges, a good number. The failure rate was very high in a particular subject. So we analyzed the data. What I did was that I pulled out data for 5 years. So when I pulled out the data for 5 years, the data shows that interest rate of students in that particular subject area is very low. And for many years, they just feel that, nothing happened. When I put that data, I said interest rate low. So how do we drive interest? So what data does that it helps you to find out what is the root cause of a particular thing. They've been doing very well, fine, but there is a challenge in that department. The department is not pulling weight. The failure rate is high. So when we found out the interest rate was low, what do? We started driving it from the lower level. How do we drive it? Oh, this is a subject that looks economics. Thank God to mention. This is a subject that looks somehow. How do we drive it so that it becomes handy to the student? They begin to understand it. What we did is that I just wrote a suggestion based on the data that was gathered that we need to make everything hands-on. So if you want the student to build anything, business plan, then it has to be hands-on. They need to design, they need to come up with a business plan, and they need to run a live business. So when we started doing that, interest begin to gather momentum, begin to gather interest. And what happened? A large number of students understood it because there's a saying that says, "Show me, I will know, but I will not be able to replicate it. But if I do it, I'll be able to replicate it." Because the students are doing it, they are able to replicate it. So by the time they come into A level, higher level economics, they could fly because they could relate with what they've done. So that is what data does. So you need to educate your team member or the organization. Apart from that, just like you mentioned, leadership buy-in. Before I could pull that thing through, it took God. In fact, it took God. But the day I got the leadership buy-in and the result was so obvious, that was the day they said, anything you are going to write in form of your report, you must have a data attached to it. And I was smiling.
Yeah.
But it was a whole lot of stress. So training, fostering a data-driven mindset among team member is vital, is so important, so that whatever I do, I can analyze it. Just like Ebenezer was speaking, I can analyze what I'm doing and make meaning out of it. That forms my data in whatever I'm going to do subsequently based on my decision. Then I want to say one of the ways again is you can actually foster this is to frequently have a cross meeting where whatever you do as a department or as a unit, there's a uniform data all of us are speaking to, and at every point in time we are all speaking to a data. By the time you drive that, consciously or unconsciously everybody begins to align and begin to speak to data. And by the time you speak to data, what happens? It becomes very visible where we are now and where we intend to go. And at the end, you find out that you will be able to achieve the business goal at the end. So that is one thing data does. I want to add one more point is feedback. Feedback loop is very, very important. It's very, very important. Even though all of us are speaking to data, the truth is that look at the data. Has it yield the result? If yes, what percentage, that is why I like metrics. What percentage did we get, and what feedback can we get? What can we do better? How can we keep up? Especially when you are operating in a highly competitive business, you want to know what percentage, what can I do better so that I can maintain a competitive advantage over my competitor. So these are some of the things that data does or that could drive in a particular organization that uses data in making decisions.
Awesome, awesome. So we are coming to the end of this. This is meant to be longer than this, but let's try a round up. Okay, so for rounding up, we would like to put as much advice out there for people. So one of the questions I have here is if you want to recommend like a book or a resource or something for people to start becoming more data centric or start building around data, what will you recommend? So let me go first. So for recommendation, um, resources are abundant on the internet right now. Yeah, so if you want to learn about data, even though it's not from a deep developer professional perspective, I'm sure if you go to YouTube and just make some, just Google and search YouTube about uh, how can you use data to make your business better and all of that, and it will take you a long way. And also ChatGPT, this is some, as in AI is making this easier. So I can, though prompt engineering is a little bit hard, but you can just go to the ChatGPT prompt and say, I am a this business, I have these data points, and I want to use these data points to make my business better. Give me suggestion. This prompt I just gave you now, if you're able to do it well, just go say, this is the business you are doing. This is the data points you have. Your data point, just try as much as possible, gather what you have, maybe the location where your people are buying from, the age range, any data you have, the product that sells the most, or the range of products you offer. Just feed it into this prompt and then just type, how can you use this to make a business better? And you will get very good response, actionable steps that don't require too much technical capacity to execute. So over to you guys. What do you have to give our audience? How can they make better decision for their businesses? Ways to do that. Yeah, Beniza.
So another way is like you mentioned. I mean, you did round it up already in terms of being
Yeah,
able to
absolutely.
use ChatGPT or just go on YouTube, right? Another big part of it for me is always mentorship. It's the part that I always talk about. Mentorship is pretty big because, and it's deeper than what I can even explain. Now, if you are lost in the world, just imagine you are lost somewhere and you have somebody that you can always call on and just pull you out, right? So mentorship can guide you, can help you in terms of, you know what, I think this is what you need now. No, you don't need to go this route first. Similar to how people just go into analytics, and you find it difficult, you find it so overwhelming that when you now get into analytics, you are going to go and learn Python and R, and you are on a job that requires Python, R, all of the tools in the world, and you get the job and you're working on Power BI or Excel alone, and you're like, why did I learn Python? Right? So it's really big. It's all of these things about data. When you do research, when you speak to people, they will tell you, you know what, forget Python is a very big tool in the in the industry. But I mean, it might not come in as handy as you're expecting it. It might not come in the way you're expecting, or you might not even find a use case for it. I used to
Yeah.
tell people that for the most part of my 7 years of experience, the chance of me using Python hasn't been, I've not used Python completely for like
Mm.
6, 7 months, right? But I write Python because it's not that I have to now go and start from that Python. If I learn Python first, it means I can't do anything. I'll probably not be doing anything. I'll still be waiting for a job that requires me to be using Python. So it means that when you have mentorship, they'll just tell you, no, leave this tool for now. I think you should start from here, or you go this route. Then as you're doing, they are guiding you, they are putting you in check.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the ways that I would say, and like Nizo said, ChatGPT is like I take it as my friend, like you're having conversation.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think to a certain time, when you use ChatGPT for the most
A
part,
long time. Yeah.
you won't stress yourself in terms of describing yourself anymore. I just put in what I'm
Exactly.
giving me my solution, or I know how to engage you more, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's it for me.
Awesome,
Okay, let me
awesome.
just add one more that have worked for me. Join communities is very important.
Yeah,
If you want to really do well, you need to listen to thought leaders in this particular field or this industry. What have they done? What are the challenges they've experienced? You'll be able to learn from them. Then join communities. BA community, data analyst community, data science community, they go a long way because I'm a member of a community. I get update, I get information. In fact, there's one that shares something on stakeholder analysis. I learned a lot from it. So this is how you begin to gather some information that will actually help you. Just like Mr. Ebenezer said, there are a lot that we have learned. At the end of the day, you may just use 2% of them, but the truth is that there's always a transfer of knowledge. It helps a lot. There's always a transfer of knowledge. So I would just want to say, be open-minded, join communities, listen to thought leaders that are doing well in the field, in the industry, and it will just help you fly.
Awesome. So to round up on what you just said about community, so please, if you're on this session and you're seeing us live, go to LinkedIn and go and follow all these people here. Go and follow Ebenezer Okeowo on LinkedIn. His name is the same way it's written on LinkedIn. I want to say be blessing because you go and follow her on LinkedIn. I have followed these people on LinkedIn. Their engagement is it's still around what we're discussing here constantly, and then you can get to see it's a way of following up and seeing what's happening. Even in the world of data, it's constantly evolving too. So those of us that were practicing, we are constantly putting out content out there to show you that okay, oh, this is what's changing. This is where we're headed to now. This is what we're
Exactly.
doing. The chat GPT that we're talking about that everybody is ChatGPT up to a year old. I think it's just like maybe a year and a half now. And yes, it has taken over almost, everything. It's a part of like myself now. I pay premium. That's how well I use it. Not me alone, myself and a team that we develop together because premium is $20, and then we pay it and we use it to develop. We don't want to hear we
you
have
have
exceeded
exceeded your
our quota.
memory.
Exactly. For the day.
No, 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 no. Nobody wants to see that anymore. Okay, so any final thoughts? Any final anything for the community?
So
Okay,
for
for
me,
me, okay.
no, 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 go for it.
Yeah.
For me, I will reiterate the words of my friend, data doesn't lie. Whatever you are
Yeah.
going to take as a business decision, have a data backup. It pays. You don't have to waste resources in advertising, campaigning for a product that will never sell. Data helps you to know where to maximize your effort, what not to do, what to do. It helps you to move your business from where it is to where it ought to do, to where it ought to be. And that's what we call strategic positioning. What helps you to be strategically positioned in an industry is the ability to utilize the data that is before you. And that is all from me.
Thank you.
So I would just on my final note, I would just say data is not as expensive as we think. Decision making is not as expensive as we think. But if we do not go the route that we should go, we probably would experience the other side of data that looks expensive,
Exactly.
right? So I mean, that's it for me.
So thank you guys very much for this session. This was a very interesting session. Even the comments we are having, said it's very interesting. So thank you guys. It was awesome having you both on this session. Please, for those following and listening on this show, please join our community. The WhatsApp link also is displayed down there. So Thank you, guys. See you all in 2 weeks' time. We'll be talking about something more interesting than this. Thanks, guys, and have an awesome day. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye bye.
Bye.